All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually flip this over. Unfortunately, this design, the one thing that I didn't think of was getting this thing out. I don't have access underneath, so I kind of just have to flip it over and let it do that. Not horrible. I hope I don't have to do that during a gig anyway. I'm gonna just set it like this. So now all you do is you take your two terminals and you just connect them like so. That's it. Just like that. So now I have my two terminals, and I'm going to do that for each one of these before I get going. You can see that even, that's kind of a mess over here. You can see that even my RGB buttons up top, same thing. Okay, and just have them connected like that. So you're going to be able to just connect these, and what I'll do is I'll just fly through this and some kind of cool editing magic, and we'll come back with all of these connected. All right, so you may be wondering why I might have wired these guys up. The reason I wired them up, even though they're just going to be my indicator lights, I'm also going to use them as undo buttons. So I don't have to do the hold to, actually I'm going to use them as clear buttons, I'm sorry. So that way I free up my loops that I can use more of overdub, maybe reverse, that kind of stuff. I wanted these to not have to access them very often, and I don't clear loops very often unless I'm undoing something, and that's why I have this pedal right here is my undo pedal. So I thought maybe clearing this would be a cool way to do that. I traditionally use hold to clear, but now that hold frees up that I can use something else that's more accessible. So everything is now hooked up. It's kind of a mess. We're going to take care of that as we go through this, but you could see how easy that was. And now let me just show a close-up there. I'm not actually going to hook anything up here, but I want to show a close-up while we're in this view of the retro loop. So here you can see the actual retro loop, and it's clearly labeled as you go through this. So I start with D0 is going to be my first loop, which is actually over here. That's an important lesson there, because this one, when I flip it over, is going to be over here. This is my first loop. This is my beat loop. So my beat loop is going to go in D0, and you can see if you look closely at this, D0 is right here. Okay, you do not need the order to matter that much. With RGB, it does matter. I'll talk about why that is in a little bit, but with this one, it doesn't matter because Loopy, if you're building it for Loopy, that is, Loopy uses Midi learn. And with Midi learn, when I press that button, it's going to learn that note regardless of where it is on this scale. But I'm going to keep it nice and even, and I'm going to go D0, D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 those will be my main loops as I go through that. Okay? So the A stands for analog, that I believe, and I hope I'm quoting this right, but the analog's what you would use if you decide you want some foot switches. Like I'm going to use the final two analogs there as that A4 and A5. I'm going to use those for my actual foot switch inputs that I have over there, my TS ones. So all I do is take this cable, the end of this cable, and I insert it into, oh, you got to make sure it's facing the right way, the D0 spot, just like that. Okay, that's it. And now if I plug this into my iPad, it would already recognize this button on Loopy. That's how easy it is to code this. If you don't believe me, let's try it out. I'm going to take my USB-C here. I am an Anchor guy. I use Anchor cables for just about everything, including charging my iPad and my phone. I just think they are the most reliable cable company there's out there. However, I do use a different cable to go to my iPad. I'll talk about why that is in a little bit. But here, let's plug this first in here. And then let's put it into the iPad. You can see the light is on. So now if I have this right, my green button is going to turn on this loop because I already did MIDI learn. And voila, look at that. How simple is that? That's how easy Adam has made it. That required no coding skills. And I'll talk about the program itself. If you're feeling like, oh, I've done some coding to this. Sure, I have. I've updated the firmware. We'll go over that in part of this video as well. It's not as hard as it sounds. Adam has really made this as easy as you possibly could without like needing any coding. You don't have to do any soldering. It's just fun. So let's hook up the rest of these buttons in order.